Hello, we meet again. How are we all doing, guys? Who's joining today? I'm hoping that lots of us will join so that we can talk about this very important topic on taking action for change. Last week, we had a very exciting topic on the new way of life and work, and we looked at all the things that AI is bringing our way. But today, what are we going to do? I know that most of us are overwhelmed, and we are thinking, what's the next thing to do? Today, we're going to look at how we can begin to take action for change, because the only way that we can align ourselves with the change that's happening, or even begin to change our lives, is by taking action. We'll talk about that in a second. Before then, let's just go through a few minutes, a few seconds of introduction, and then we'll start the show. Thank you.
Mastermind for Men is a supportive space where men are encouraged to grow into their best selves. We believe every man has a unique purpose and a gift to share with the world. Our dream is that this community acts as a catalyst, helping us unlock our potential and walk confidently in our purpose. Together, let's foster courage and boldness as we become the men we were born to be, making a positive impact on our families, communities, and living lives of purpose. Welcome to Mastermind for Men. Together we are bigger, better, and stronger. Iron sharpens iron.
Fantastic. Iron sharpens iron. Thank you, guys. Welcome. If you're joining us now, if you're watching on replay, thank you so much for taking our time to look at this. We're very grateful to have you here. So, guys, we've been talking about how the world is changing so quickly. Last week, we looked about the new nature of change, the new nature of life, and relationships, and everything. Everything is changing, especially with artificial intelligence. Everything is changing, and we looked at how do we make ourselves aware of these changes. How can we begin to at least have an understanding of what's happening? Understand that when things are changing, that we need to relearn and unlearn the things that we thought we knew, so that we'll be able to align ourselves with whatever it is that is changing. And we agree that it is a certainty that things are going to change. It is certain things are going to change. So if we're going to thrive in the midst of this change, then it's got to be on us to take the actions that we need to take for change to happen. So now that we agreed on in the last week's episode that, look, it's going, things are going to change whether we accept it or not, whether we believe that things should change or not. Unfortunately, it doesn't take permission from us. Last week, I remember Kendrick was talking about change requiring courage from us rather than fear. So that courage is the main ingredient that we need to begin to take action. Now, the first thing that happens when change like this starts is people freak out. It's a lot of things happening. You're trying to learn one thing, and then the next thing, there's the next thing that's happening. How do we begin to control ourselves? Or how do we begin to formulate that new person that understands change, that's able to take advantage rather than be taken advantage of? Because as we were saying last week, so many people are, so many leaders in business are saying it, that things are going to change. Things are going to need to change. One, there's a lot of competition happening in the market. So everybody wants to make more profit. And for you to make more profit now, the proposition has got to make sense. If it doesn't make sense, then nobody's going to do it. Now, if your competition are those people who can deploy the latest technology and use that latest technology to do a certain amount of work that would take you 2 months to do in 1 week, then you're already dead in business. But trust me, that is what is coming. So what do we do? How are we going to prepare ourselves to take advantage of this? That's the main core of today's meeting. So brace yourself. Let's start. talking about it. Okay. Now, we talked about artificial intelligence as if that's the only thing that's changing, but so many other things are changing as well. There's other new technologies that's coming out. There's, the one around data, how we use data and what we can do with data. I know that most of them are interconnected, but that's how life is. But how many of those things are we able to understand, even to understand? So the first step of taking action in this season of change is to begin to look for what is it, look for the things that's coming up. Embrace, create a process which we can use to follow what is the latest. There are magazines, there are news channels, there are Twitter feeds, there are YouTube channels that we can watch. From there, we can understand what's changing. But if we're not going to find out what's changing, then education or unlearning is not going to be a thing, because you need to know what you're learning. What is it that is new? And then once you identify those things, you take them one after the other. It's not something that you say, oh, there's blockchain, there is artificial intelligence, there is data analytics or data warehousing and so on. There is remote work and so on and so forth. You need to understand what each and every one of these things mean in so much depth that you will be able to know when you're getting the right information or the wrong information. Because the other thing that's happening now, even though it's very important that we identify what we need, if we don't take the first step and identify what we need, what will happen is we're going to put ourselves in a situation where we'll find something that's shiny, a really nice YouTube advert, and we think, yes, this is it. Let's do it. But no, it's not always the right thing. It doesn't even matter the quality of the production or whoever is doing it or whoever is talking about it. If you really don't understand what you're looking for, then there's a lot of danger out there. People are going to take your money and teach you something that's not even relevant. So that's very, very crucial. Now, if you have identified what it is that you're looking for in the market, the next step is to find out who you can learn from. What is the source that you can look at to begin to pull in that knowledge, to begin to pull in that understanding so that you're able to begin your learning process. It's very important that we take the same view when it comes to learning, starting from zero. Because if you jump a few steps thinking, oh, I know about this thing and so on, what will happen is you go from 5 to 10 and you realize that, oh, I actually needed 1. You bring yourself back to 1. You lose momentum. You introduce the opportunity for frustration, because now you're supposed to be in grade 10 and you're going back to grade 0 just because you rushed through some steps. So these are the things that's important when it comes to taking action for change. The change is happening in our time. The third one I want to talk about is committing to experimentation. Most times we want to do things and we want to be very careful and make sure that that thing happens, that it happens at the first touch, that nothing stops us from making that thing happen for ourselves. But no, nothing that's worth anything in the world, no innovation has been founded because someone is just trying to make sure to polish it so that it's best, and you just have one go at it and it works. No, it requires loads and loads of experimentation. And that's where the courage that we're talking about comes in. It's not going to be a short journey. It's not going to be a journey of just try this one thing, try these 2 things. If it doesn't work, well, it doesn't work. We just crack on like that. It's fine. No, you've got to commit yourself to experimentation. And what it means, the experimentation process means, is that it comes with definite failure in most cases. But you never know, one of the experiments might then yield a result that you can be proud of at the end of the day. So what are we talking about tonight? We're talking about how you and I can begin to take action for the change that's happening in the world now. And I've talked about ensuring that you identify what the right information, what it is, what topics, what subjects are important for you to go and learn and understand. And then the second step is to look for who and what source you can get that information from. And once you identify a source, you commit to doing work on it, but commit also to experimentation. You've got to commit to experimentation, because if you're going to play it safe, nobody has succeeded playing it safe. You've got to throw yourself out there, throw yourself in it, and try it. Don't just be a learner. You know, there was a season in my life, all I did was just watch YouTube videos about something, you know, then I was looking at selling on Amazon. But until I started taking action on those things and experimenting, pick this product, I put it out there. Does it sell? Does it not sell? And then I go to the next one. Does it sell? Does it not sell? Until I found one that worked. Then I watched less videos, and then the rest of it was successful. So it's very important that we don't just lock ourselves in to that box of perfection. Let's see more videos. Let's get more people to teach us. Let's get more people to show us. And by doing that, we miss opportunities. We miss opportunities to really, really ride high or take more risks so that we can have bigger results. So it's up to us. It's been established. We know that change will always come, that change is happening, that this information that you're getting today will be stale by the time it's midnight tonight. And what we are agreeing to do tonight is to make sure that we are not blind, we are not ignorant of the change that is happening around us, but that we take action, that we make the effort to go out there and look for this information. And that when we find this information, we then be able to take action, commit ourselves to experimentation. And that's going to take a lot of hard work. There is no way to succeed. There is no way to stay afloat during change that will not demand hard work from us. So that's really, really crucial. I'm hoping that this has helped. This has maybe moved you forward from where you were to where you want to go to. But this is a journey that we all have to take on together. There's some areas that you're struggling with. Reach out to some of us on this platform. Reach out to people on this platform and talk about it. Maybe it will be a new thing, but when you put two heads that are good together, you might achieve a lot more better results. And that's how we grow. But if you're going to start trying on your own, you might face overwhelm. And then you do nothing in the end. And this is not an era. This is not a season where we can afford not to do anything, because as we have established, change has no mercy on anybody. If things are changing, things are changing. And if we're not ready, then we get carried away by the change. It doesn't matter whether it's going to destroy us or keep us or whatever. It does not matter. So we are under the pressure now to begin to look at these options. How do we change? What can we do? How do we progress from where we are to where we need to go to? How do we identify what is important? And then when we identify that, how do we commit ourselves to start learning those things from the best? Start learning it also one after the other to avoid overwhelm. And that's the way we can even have a hope of scratching the surface of what's happening in the world that we found ourselves today. But if our choice is going to be to do nothing, then the change is going to sweep us away. And that's not my prayer for any one of us. I'm just asking that we rise up to this challenge, to this change, to this season, and take the action that is required. Because it's only when we take action that we can expect results. But if we're going to sit and wait, then change is going to come. It's going to carry us away. Whether we're screaming or shouting, it does not have respect for that. So my brothers, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me today. I'm on my own, but I know that you all are going to maybe see this later. I'm hoping that this has added something to help you with whatever it is that you're doing, so that the change that is coming is not going to take you or myself by surprise. Rather, we're going to start taking those actions that we require to move ourselves from where we are just floating to where we're going to match with the change that's coming. Until next week, guys, You keep on working. I'm rooting for you. Reach out if you need anything. Unfortunately, we won't have any backroom today because it's just myself. But whatever it is, I wish you a wonderful week. Let's catch up again next Monday and make it even bigger. All the best, and God bless you. Bye-bye.